Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the 5D Academy of Higher Consciousness. I'm your host, Zarathustra, broadcasting live from Tulum, Mexico. So we're all here once again through the grace of God. Somehow existence cooperates with itself and allows this academy to continue magically. How are we all doing today? Hi, Susie, how are you? Hi, Monica, welcome back. Miss Hilde, how are you? You looking good? Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi, Marit. Brother Hines, welcome back. Miss Elijah, welcome back to the academy.
Always here.
Always here. Nice having you here. Hello, Miss Julie. Wow. Nice seeing you.
Nice to see you, Zarathustra.
So, Hilde, you mentioned, you brought up something, you wanted me to talk about something. So,
Just a suggestion about the who am I.
Okay. Yeah. I believe in our podcast, if we go through it, we have this, but it's probably from a few years ago. Okay, let's put that in a list of the things we want to talk about. I think, let me see, just give me one moment. I want to talk about something else today, if I remember. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Maria Mary. My suggestion is to coordinates between mind and heart. It is possibility. Maria. Welcome, Maria from Poland. It's funny, Amir. That screen funny thing is happening right now with Monica's. Monica, do you see something funny happening? I don't know what the story is, but
yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
It might be a Zoom glitch because I have the same issue. So start from your computer.
Right. Okay. So Brett left, or he's around, or he turned off.
No, this year just he turned off his webcam.
Okay. Good.
Yes,
Yes.
I have left my computer for reparation, but sometimes it happens again. So I don't think it's wrong in my computer.
Yeah. This could be a glitch in Zoom. The application Zoom that we're using, maybe they have a problem, and that's how it happens. So I am sure sooner or later we will find out what to do with it, or it will solve itself.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I been thinking lately, and what I want to talk about, and we may just go into the other stuff. Like, I just remember I wrote something down. We are only awareness, and I wrote it down so I don't forget, so I talk about it. But since then, I had an encounter with one of my friends, and I want to talk about the truth of myself. I want to talk about me and where I'm at with myself, with life, with my spirituality. So the title of this uh, subject, the topic of this um, academy is going to be I am not enlightened. Also, I want to welcome those who are watching this broadcast on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So welcome you all. I'm not able to communicate with you. Uh, the ones who are watching this broadcast, who are watching it from Facebook directly or YouTube or Twitter, I won't be able to respond to you. Those of you watching on Instagram, it's hard for me. I can't type. Uh, so the best thing, if you want to have a direct communication during this academy, is join us through the Zoom application. For that, you need to go on my and you can do it right now. You can go to my website, zarathustra.tv, click on the academy and register from the academy, and you come to this Zoom link, and we can talk. So the topic is I am not enlightened. Okay, so this discussion came with a friend of mine a while ago, and when we were talking about it, it was due to um, some unconscious behavior that I had, and some things I said. I joked a little bit too much. I pushed it too far, and you can say I was stupid or I was unconscious by my language and I was insensitive with my language. And then this created the ripple. And my friend, he got insulted. And then we talked a couple of days after that, and he brought it up to me, and he told me a number of things, and I listened to him, and I realized he's right. He's right that sometimes I'm being too much. Sometimes I'm saying, especially in a friend settings or a situation, I may say things that is insensitive to other people or people that are close to me, and it hurts them. Um, or I may do something that is hurtful. So, and the idea, and I'm being a lot of times compared to what would Papaji or what would Ramana Maharshi do and say in that situation. And I would imagine that they would be acting more consciously. I'm imagining. I only was with Papaji for 3 years in end of 92, 3 and 4. So, but I never lived with him and I was never close to him. I was I wasn't in an inner circle. I was always an outsider, and I only saw him as a guru, as a teacher, but I never got to go to lunch with him or have dinner with him or get invited to go to his home to see how he behaves, or how does he behave in his private time with his wife or kids. Is he still in his guru status, or does he get angry, snaps at them? How does he react? I don't know about that. Ramana Maharshi, most of the stories I've heard about is that he was very, very still and generally very, very kind and loving to everybody. There's a lot of stories about that, but he could hear sometimes people's minds, and if they were too much in their mind, he would snap at them. he would maybe out of nowhere yell at somebody. And that yelling was to just get them out of their head. Nisargadatta Maharaj, who was another Advaita master, and he died, I think, sometimes in 1970 or early 80. He was very fiery. I don't know if you know anything about Nisargadatta Maharaj. He was a master, Advaita master, fully realized, and he was rolling bidis. He was rolling cigarettes. In India, they call it bidis. So he had a little hut, a little shack, somewhere downtown Bombay or somewhere, and he would go sit on the street at his shack. He was rolling bidis and selling bidis. And he also smoked like 20, 30 of them a day. And that's what he did for a profession, selling cigarettes. And then there would be different people go sit with him when he gave satsang, but he was very fiery guru. So if you said something that he felt like he was stupid, or if you said something that came out of your mind, he maybe would be yelling at you or kicking you out of his place. So, but he was fully realized, completely enlightened. But in this mechanism of the person, he would get very angry very quickly if he felt like somebody's acting unconsciously. These are the stories I've heard of these three Satgurus, and I'm not referring to the gentleman who's teaching right now, and you're watching his videos. His name is Sadguru. I'm talking about Satguru. Means this is your ultimate guru. This guru is the one for you. So all of these things brought me to one thing after this encounter I had with this friend of mine, is that on the human level, as a human, I have a lot of things to work on and to correct and be aware of. Be aware of certain actions and certain things I say, and not be nonchalant in normal settings and saying stupid things or things that are hurting other people, or doing stupid things and doing things that hurts other people. So this brought me to one thing. And since I've never claimed I'm enlightened, this brings me back to this thing that I am not enlightened, and I'm not in the level of Papaji or Ramana Maharshi. And in fact, in the truth of matter, I don't even know what enlightenment is, to be honest with you, because I know enlightenment is not an experience. That part I know. But from the stories I've heard from other people, enlightenment is a level of understanding, or enlightenment is a place that your ego has dissolved, your ego has disappeared, and you have completely merged into the oneness. Like what happened to Ma Amritananda Mai, the Divine Mother. You heard of Divine Mother, the one who's hugging, the hugging, Amaji. Have you heard of Amaji? The Satguru who hugs people. Her individual consciousness has dissolved into universal consciousness. He's still a person. He's not a robot. He's not a dummy. It's not like she can't put her shoes on anymore, or she doesn't know how to read or write, or she doesn't know how to buy a train ticket. It's like her ego has emerged, has disappeared. And when I do examine myself, I realize that my ego is here. Just like everybody else, I have an ego. For example, yeah, I like people look at me. I enjoy it. I like people pay attention to me. I like people checking me out. I like being the center of attention. So when I examine myself, I realize sometimes I'm begging for attention. I want someone to look at me, look at me, look at me. And I'm aware of that. But I just thought to come out and say this to everybody. So those of you who feel differently or have an image of me that, let's say, if you're living with me as a friend or whatever, know that I do stupid things. And I say stupid things at times. And sometimes maybe I say something stupid and I'm not aware of it. And then somebody can come and tell me, hey, that wasn't cool. And sometimes I say something stupid and I'm aware of it. Or do something stupid and not be aware of it. And do something stupid that later I notice, oh, wow, that was really stupid. You need to pay attention. So if somebody's fully realized and they're completely enlightened and their personal ego has merged into consciousness, would they ever do anything stupid? Would they ever say anything stupid? I don't know. Because in this lifetime, I never had the opportunity to live with somebody who's fully awakened, completely awake. I never had that opportunity to be around them. And during my era that I was seeking for awakening, I was seeking for God. I wanted to become self-realized. I wanted to become one with the world. I wanted to become one with God in this time. The gurus, the teachers that I came across, and these are some really big time, powerful, hardcore gurus that unfortunately, I don't know if there is any of them around in this era. Maybe there are, but they're unknown and they're hiding. They're not showing themselves, but I don't know of any of them. The names I hear when I'm checking it up, I'm not impressed. But there are. So these powerful beings, I couldn't get to them. I couldn't be with them because they were at the level that they had a lot of people, because as you grow, let's say you're a rock star or you're an actor. And if you're just an unknown actor, yes, somebody meets you in a bar and you can have a drink together, or maybe they invite you to dinner at their home, or you invite them to dinner at home. But as they're getting famous, there's going to be barriers between them and the public because they need barriers to support themselves. So if you see Brad Pitt walking on the streets of Stockholm, you can't just go talk to him. There's going to be bodyguards around him. Or you can't just go tell him, hey buddy, come over to dinner to my home. You can't do that. There's barriers. So you have to go through their barriers. And the same thing with famous gurus, because they're celebrities. So in my time, I never had the opportunity to get close to them one-on-one. And also, part of it wasn't in my destiny. It wasn't written for me. I wasn't meant to. And some of them I really liked. There was no connection between us. They didn't like me in a way that they would invite me to their home. So I never had that opportunity to really observe them, to see how do they act, like being able to live for 1 month with Papaji to see how he deals with things. So coming back to what I was talking about is, yes, yeah, the only things I know is a level of awareness that I experience within myself. And this has nothing to do with the power. With the spiritual power that God has given me, that's a different story. I'm not talking about that. Because when that comes, we all have seen it, miracles happen. But just having spiritual powers, that does not mean you don't have an ego. Okay? And this is very good. This thing happened between me and this friend of mine, and this conversation came because I needed a little brotherly advice. I needed a little brotherly reminder, a brotherly kick in the ass that I got to wake me up a little bit, to get myself straight and not make stupid comments or do stupid things, and be aware of that. And when I examining it, these stupid comments or these stupid moves that I do, they are coming from the ego. They're coming from this part that is desperate for getting attention. So now but in the same time, there is, fortunately, the ability to be able to be aware of it, to be aware of a certain unconscious behavior or yeah. So that brings us to a second part of this conversation we have. The second part of this conversation is about we are only awareness. We are only awareness. And what does that mean, saying we're only awareness? And one more thing, I need to add this up too, because I have people contacting me, telling me the master or telling me Guruji. And it's good. It's good to revisit this area every once in a while. I don't know how many times I have shared with you or I have shared with my audience. Many, many times people have come to me and you say that, oh, you're the master. And maybe I tell them verbally, but to myself, I say, yes, I'm the master of nothing. Because I am a master of nothing. Master of nothing. So, and when it comes to healing work and and 5D quantum healing and awareness when it comes to doing the work that it's very powerful. And in this work, I have witnessed during the healing work, I've seen it with my own eyes that some people health issue got healed. Some issues were visible, like had many times people who had a shoulder issue and they could not raise their arm up for 5 years, 10 years, that they just could not raise their arm. They had surgeries. Hilda knows that. Hilda remembers that. You remember that lady? We had 2 of them. Yeah? In the hotel room, Hilda? You remember that? Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I worked on her for 45 minutes. And I beat her up a little bit. Not beat up in that way. I was hitting her body to make her the body to wake up. And I'm whispering, talking to her shoulder. 45 minutes, an hour went by. And then I brought her arms up. I said, let go. And one of her arms wouldn't come up. It was, 10 or 15 years, Hilda. Do you remember? You remember that lady came with like she drove a motorcycle or something. She had a black leather jacket.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you remember? Huh?
I think she has been had those injuries for about 15 years or something.
She had that, yeah. She had that injury for 15 years. And after that, I work on her. We're in a hotel room in Hamar, in a little tiny place, and I'm working on her. And then I just tell her, leave your arms like this, leave them, don't press. So I bring her arms up, and then both arms go up. And I say, okay, now just use your arms. She started bringing her arm down. I said, bring it up. She brings it up, bring it down, bring it up. And she started crying. I don't know if you remember or not. Tears started coming down.
Yeah, she was so amazed, so grateful.
So we hug. She leaves. An hour after, she sends Hilde a message in Norsk. And this is what she says in her message. Oh, really? Thank you, Zarathustra, da, 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 da. But tell Zarathustra, for the first time in 15 years, I can wipe my ass in the toilet.
That's a blessing, huh?
She can reach that area. And Hilda and I started cracking up. We laughed so much when Hilda translated that message. Her and I started laughing. So besides this story, the reason I'm using this story is because I want to come back to the subject that we started it from the beginning. I don't want to deviate from it. Even though I have been a part of miracles and existence, universe, grand spirit, God has come through and done miracles by healing people, I never for a moment have any feelings like I did it. And I had a lot of people come and tell me, oh, Zarathustra, you're an amazing healer. Or Zarathustra, can you heal this person or heal that person? My answer is always that I have no healing powers. I can't heal anybody. God is the only one who heals. And if there is any healers or anyone who really for one moment thinks that they can heal anyone, then just remember that God is the only one who heals. Existence, God, nature, presence is the only healer. So you can become an incredible healer. You can come to those levels of magical powers, those levels of superhuman powers, they do exist, and you can come to it, but that still does not mean you're liberated. That does not mean that you're free. Liberation is a different story with spiritual power. There has been many people on this planet who've come to spiritual powers. Amazing things, amazing abilities. Like maybe they can move these keys with the power of the mind, lift it and put it somewhere else. Or maybe they can walk through a wall. These are powerful things, right? But that doesn't mean you're liberated. Liberation means that you are no longer identified with this sense that I am somebody separated from existence. So let's say for a person says, who thinks I am separated from the world, which 99.99 and 99% of the humanity believes that they have free will and they can do whatever they do. Look at me, I'm powerful, I'm strong. Every decision I make is good. I have 5 companies. I make millions of dollars. I have 200 people, 5,000 people working for me. And I made all of that happen. Me. I'm mighty. So if this person means it in that way, then they're not liberated because they think they're doing it. He thinks he's the one who created 5 companies and whatever he does goes right. That's not him doing it. That Her Majesty the Lord God is doing it through him. But he has not spiritually matured yet to realize that there is no him. It's only that. That is the only thing there is. There is no him, there is no you, and there is no me. To have an individual power to accomplish something or go through failure. And the reason you don't know that is because there is something called ego. And ego is that part, that voice in your head that thinks, I am mighty, I'm powerful, look at me, I'm handsome, I'm famous, I can have anything I want, and I can create anything I want, and everywhere I go, people look at me. Da 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 da. I have that in me, and it's very powerful. It's a powerful ego. I have it in me. I see it. It's like a monster here. It's ugly. When it takes over, it's very ugly. But
excuse me for interrupting you, but there's also so many different descriptions of ego in the different spiritual teachings. But I understand what you mean, but also it can be confusing to understand what you're meaning because there's so many different explanations of what ego is.
well, I'll make it very simple for you, and then you won't be confused. the term, when they say ego, this guy has a big ego, right? Yeah, name somebody. Who do you think has a big ego? Actor, actress, athlete, musician? Can you name someone? Anyone? Hello? There's got to be someone in this planet you think they have a big ego. Can you name somebody? Huh?
I said Mariah Carey.
Mariah Carey? Yeah. Okay, Mariah. What is she? Singer or actress or what?
She's a singer.
Right. So, okay, Mariah Carey. First of all, Mariah Carey, apology to you. I'm not insulting you. We're just using you here in this conversation. Okay. She's got a big ego. She thinks she's hot shit and she can do whatever she wants. And when someone has a big ego, let's say they come, like you remember during that time Trump was coming and he was a president or he was talking about, did you guys think he has a big ego? If you do, raise your hand. How many of you think he has a big ego? Right. So it's kind of interesting. Can't you see somebody who has a big ego? In your family, friends, or public figure, they're cocky and they got a big ego. And they're kind of arrogant to other people or ignorant. And so when someone has a big ego, can you tell most of the time? Yes, no? Hello? Are you there? Respond to me. Just yes or no. Can you tell somebody has a big ego? Yeah, you can tell. So, answering you, Elijah, the big ego. You say there's so many different part of it. There's only one thing, so you don't get confused by categorizing different kind of egos. Ego is this. It's a thought. It's a simple thought that me, Zarathustra, okay, I'm special, and I'm certainly not experiencing oneness. I'm certainly feeling I am separated from everything else. And there's this urge for being looked at. There's an urge is pay attention to me, look at me, notice me. Notice who? Me. This me wants to be recognized, wants to be seen. Desperately is looking for that. It's a thought of me, I. And this ego sometimes gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So, Elijah, there is only one. If you narrow it down, it just comes to a thought. The thought is me, I. I am independent from the rest of the world. I am lonely. Nobody loves me. I'm lonely means I am not experiencing I'm one with everything else. Because if I start to realize I'm one with everything else, how could I be lonely? What part of me is going to be lonely? Existence is always in communication and surrounding me all the time. How can I be lonely? Any comments? Anybody would like to talk about something?
Yes,
Please.
yes. Ron, it's very important to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you can't love any other person. But it seems to collidate with this, with the ego, because when you love yourself, why do you love yourself?
Right.
It's complicated for me.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you explain it?
What part of it?
If I love myself, then maybe I have a big ego, because I'm proud of myself and I'm proud of everything I do. I think I can do anything. And that is a person with a big ego. But want to see, if you love yourself, you can get that big ego.
Great question. This is really, really good that you brought this up. It is complicated in some ways. And also, it's a paradox. There's the complication and there's the paradox of this. Okay, let me use myself. I think it's the best because I'm the closest to me, and I think I would be a good example for it. I do love myself. I love myself. Or at least I believe I love myself, but I do. So in this loving myself, a lot of things I do in different levels of loving yourself. Okay, is one way. Let's categorize it and talk about it. Okay, so it's not one thing. Okay, let's say you love yourself, and in this loving yourself, you have learned to say no to things you don't want to do, times that somebody puts you under pressure, or okay, let's say for example, you made a plan. Let's say I made a plan that next week I go with my friends to Punta Allen. I go to Bacala, and we're gonna go to this lagoon. And we made plans. We got an Airbnb, and we're planning to go to this place. I committed to my friends. I'm sorry, I'm gonna mute everybody because, okay, good. I committed to everybody that I'm going to go. And then a day before we go, if something comes up and I have a very, very strong feeling of I don't really want to go, get a very strong feeling that I need to be alone. I need to be silent. I need to, instead of this weekend going to Punta Allen with friends, I have to take care of Zarathustra, I really need to go somewhere silent. I need to go for a walk. I need to exercise. I need to stop drinking alcohol. Because if I go there, I know we're drinking or we're smoking. Things I like to do. Drinking alcohol, smoking, these are the things I enjoy. Okay, and then my body says I don't want it. My psyche says no. And I very strongly feel like I need to stay here, maybe go swimming, go running, exercising, maybe clean my home, do my laundry, write, do some writings, call my mom, call my friends, really taking care of myself. So what do? Is I contact my friends, even though my conditioning, because I have this Persian, Iranian conditioning, which you don't say no, it's bad. You already made commitments, you're gonna go. If you say I'm not gonna go, it's kind of bad, it's not good, it doesn't look good. So now, 10, 15 years ago, I would submit and I would go. And then I would hate myself for doing it. But now is I would call my friends and I say from the bottom of my heart is, I can't come. I really need to stay home. I really need to be by myself. I can't go. And whatever, how much do I owe you? Let me pay for this. Da, 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 da. So that's one way. Another part of loving yourself for me is I like to look good. I like to be in shape. I like fashion. I like clothing. I really enjoy dressing up. If I'm in Europe, it allows me to dress up, put fashionable clothing that it works in a city. And then when I'm here, of course, you can't wear a jacket with a tie because you look like a clown. But you dress Tuluminati, you dress, beach wear, whatever, but still I like it to look cool. I like to take care of my skin. I like to take care of my hair. I like to exercise. When I take my shirt off, I like to look good. And I want to feel good. I like to exercise. I like to take care of myself. So that's self-love. I just used 2 examples. I'm not going to get into other areas. I think this is good enough. Let's say another area of self-love is really getting engaged in things that you really love. Not doing it because your mom going to be upset or your dad going to get upset or whatever. You do things that you really love to do. But also, I have this other part of me that does things which is not good for me. It's excessive. Or I do things that are dangerous. It's not really good for me, the kind of things that I also do. Dangerous stuff. I can get killed by doing it. I'm not talking about I go in a bank and rob a bank. That's not what I'm talking about. But, pushing the motorcycle, driving it in the middle of the night in the jungle and taking the motorcycle to 100 kilometers with very little visibility. At any second, you can die. Is this self-love? I don't know. It's an addiction to danger. And I do it a lot. I can say in this action, I get very alive when I do it. I become so alive. Maybe it's a sickness. Maybe not. Or maybe I don't love myself that I put in this position that I can get killed. So do you feel like I answered your question? Oh, no, I haven't. Hold on a second. That is okay, wanting to look good, wanting to be presentable, wanting to be a good athlete, taking care of yourself, that's not, to me, it could be egoic, it can go to ego, or it could just simply be that you like to take care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. To wanting to take care of yourself, to want to be presentable, to want to be clean. You like to wear a clean shirt. You don't want to be smelling. That's your makeup. That's your genetics. Ego is a different story. Ego is like when you're constantly, like when I'm in LA, I'm not putting LA down, but a lot of people in LA and a lot of different conversations in LA is about, oh yeah, I'm making $50 million a year, and oh, 5 million is nothing, and I'll drop it on a piece of land in a bucket. Or you hear, when I spend time with some of my friends, everything is about money, everything is about real estate, everything is about showing off. And that's ego. Because pay attention to me. I make $50 million a year. I can spend 1 million and it's nothing. And yeah, we're having that gas station is ours, and I'm making a condominium here, and I just bought something in Greece. It comes from a tone of showing off. That's ego. Did that answer your question, my dear sister? Or again, it's complicated. There's a lot of aspects of it, because also ego could be hidden in the other way. Your ego could be hidden. Like I'm going to explain something to you. There's people who are always helpers. They want to help. They're saving cats, they're saving dogs. They are going to come and help you with something. They always sacrifice themselves for other people. Or there's people that they always give. They give, but they never take. You know anybody who's always very giving, and they don't take? Right? Okay, that could be an ego too. It could be a big ego. In what way? Giving all the time to people and not taking anything back. It's a way of controlling. It's a passive way of controlling other people. Because when you're giving to other people all the time, they kind of become indebted to you. And that could be egoic. How about people who kind of martyrs? People that you talk to your grandma, you talk to your aunt, you're talking to da, and they're saying, yeah, I have this in Persian community a lot, that I talk to family here and there. I see that a lot. Yeah, Zarathustra, I'm taking care of my kids all the time. I do all these things for them. I'm taking care of my husband. I'm also taking care of my brother's kids because his wife died. and I'm doing all these things. They keep going on and on and on, that how much they're doing for other people, and they're never appreciated, but they keep doing it. That is a hidden ego too. It's hiding itself in doing things for other people, and then they come and complain to you that they're not being appreciated. That's ego too. So ego, yeah, Elijah, in a way you're right. What you said, I'm sorry, it's complicated. It can hide this ego in a lot of places. Anybody has any comments to make?
So in some sense, everything is the ego. If there's a body and there's a mind and it's acting, like whether you do the passive or, somebody who thinks of me this, me that, as soon as there's a person, then that's the ego.
Yeah, it's a package comes together. Because
the observer, the awareness, and then there's the ego.
The observer is the only place that separates everything. The awareness in this work, when you start to self-observe, then you can see your ego. But as long as you're alive and you're breathing and you're on this planet, means you have a body and you have a mind. It's a mechanism. The body-mind mechanism. It's a mechanics. There's a system of the body which is living, and there's a mind, and there's a sense of separation. There's a sense, there's a feeling that you are separated from everything else. It's when you are sensing, you're feeling, you're separated from everything else, then you can also come and say, for example, poor me, I'm so unlucky, everybody always screws me, people steal my money, they put me down, my mom used to beat me up. That's an ego too. An ego that plays that game.
And it's even just by speaking. So the language, like two people speaking to each other, already that creates a separation between you and the other person. So it always just appears that way.
By being born in this world, you're separated. Everything's separated. This is not one with this. They're not merged in. And it's separated from this. And it's separated. These are all separated. So it's impossible for you to be born in this world and not be separated in appearance.
So you can't even separate from the ego because the ego is being seen.
The ego is, yeah, but it's being seen by who? Who's aware of ego? Please stay alive. Who sees the ego? Who sees when you do some unconscious behavior, and when you're doing this work and you're self-observing? Who's doing it? See, there's one of the problems is most people doing spiritual work and they get very good at it and they advance. But there's one big problem, one major problem, which is happening today, and it's been happening throughout the years, is you learn the lingo and you get really good in hiding yourself, but you don't pay attention to your, excuse my language, I need to say it in this way because it's direct. You don't pay attention to your own fucked up behavior, your fucked up programming. You say like, yeah, I've been working on myself not to be controlling. Thank you, Zarathustra. But you're still very controlling. You only see one aspect of not being controlling, but that program of controlling is running you. So one of the toughest and hardest part of this work is when you start to look at yourself. You really start observing your patterns. And not in a way of judgmental, not in a way of really beating yourself up. You just start looking at how you are reacting to different situations, how long you've been doing the same thing. And you may not stop it. I told you, I like to drink. I like to smoke. Sometimes it's just like I'm pulled strongly towards the bottle of alcohol. Very strongly. It's like I have to have a shot of mezcal. And I see it. I see it. My body is going in that direction. I just promised myself this morning I won't drink anymore. But then I can see I'm going in that direction. I pick up the bottle, I pour the shot, and I drink it. But in the meantime, there's nothing I can do about it. And you may come and say, well, that's a cop-out, Zarathustra. That's bullshit. Because somebody who's not in this work, someone who's straight, like my brother or a lot of my friends, and you have friends and family, they may come and say, that's bullshit. You have an alcohol problem and you're masking it. To be aware of whatever you do, you have a crooked behavior, screwed up attitude or something, or program. Like people come and tell me, Zarathustra, can you do something for me to stop smoking cigarettes? And my answer is, what's wrong with smoking cigarettes? I have friends, I've been friends with them for 30 years. One of my brothers in San Diego. Every time I call him, we're talking. I say, how you doing? What's happening? He says, yeah, I'm gonna start quitting smoking as of this Monday. And I'm like, dude, you've been telling me this for 20 years. Smoke your cigarette and enjoy it. Don't mind fuck about smoking your cigarette. Don't smoke it, and then next day come and tell me I hate myself, I'm smoking cigarette. Smoke the damn cigarette. What's going to happen? You get lung cancer and you're going to die. At least until that day you enjoyed it. Or just smoke consciously. Be aware you're smoking a cigarette. So every time you're picking up the cigarette, tell yourself, I am aware I'm smoking a cigarette. Take it, light it, smoke it, enjoy it. Now you're aware of your habits. So one major gift we have in this life, and one major, go ahead, did you want to say something, Elena? Oh, okay. One actually the only job you have on this planet. The only job you have in this planet. You know the only job you have in in this planet? Every single human being on this planet, they only have one job. Anybody? You have one function and one job that there's no way you cannot do it, and you do it every day. Every single human being on this planet has one mission only. It doesn't matter what they do for a living, but they only have one mission. They only have one function as number one function. Anyone? Is to be aware. Because it's impossible not to be aware. It's absolutely impossible not to be aware. From the time you were born to today, you are always aware. You're aware of something. Okay? You are aware of something. If your stomach is gassy, can you not be aware of it? If you have a headache, can you not be aware of it? If next door right now, you know, you're sitting in your home or office listening to me, and somebody starts playing loud music in big speakers, and it's just pumping, boom, boom, boom. The bass is so strong that the walls in your home are shaking. Can you not be aware of it? When you walk out of the street and you're walking on the streets of Frankfurt, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning, you're walking on the street, and you pass a bakery and there's great smell of croissant coming. Can you not smell it? When there's a fire truck driving by and the siren's going, pew, 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 can you not be aware of it? Those are external stuff. And then when your mind is running and going crazy, thoughts, 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 thoughts. Can you not be aware of it? Your best friend just died, and you're just devastated with feelings. Can you not be aware of it? When they came and they said there's the pandemic, and there's this disease, and da-da-da-da, and estimated so many people are going to die, and blah, 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 blah. Could you not be aware of it? Is there a person who was not aware of it? Maybe you didn't care, or maybe you didn't get scared, but you were aware of it, weren't you? Yes? No? Give me some response so I know you're here. You are in a conversation, you're in a party with somebody in Graham, and somebody comes and tells you, I don't know, something stupid and rude, and it makes your nervous system shaking. You're aware of it. You're dating this lady, you're dating this guy, and you're getting very, very serious. And he comes to you and tells you, I'm not into you anymore. I'm breaking up with you. And you got really sad and your heart is broken. Can you not be aware of it? This awareness, you've had it from the time you were born. Like, if you go out right now on the street, wherever you are, it's nighttime, and you're not dressed enough, and you get cold. Can you not be aware of it? No, it's impossible. Have you ever felt sad in your life? Let me know. Have you ever felt jealous in your life? Angry? Horny? Lonely? Can you not be aware of it when that happens? No. And it doesn't matter how old you are. You are 5 years old. Look, right now we're saying like we're doing this work because we're coming to awareness. And this work we do, we have a language. We call the normal people, ordinary people, that they're not in this work. What do we call them? What is the terminology we're using in order to refer to the people who don't do this work? Anyone? We call them the unconscious people. Don't we? We call them the unconscious people. So we're the conscious people. One moment, Elijah. So what conscious, unconscious thing we're referring to? Because we're referring to those of us who are working on ourselves. So now we're becoming self-aware. When you work on yourself, it's another level of awareness. Because you cannot not be aware, but the unconscious people, like your brother, your wife, your husband, your kids, the ones who don't give a shit about spirituality, okay? You have people in your life who don't give a shit about spirituality. What do we call them? Unconscious people. That's the terminology being used. Because you're working on yourself. Now you're becoming conscious of yourself. They're not doing any work on themselves, but they're still aware. But they're not working on themselves. So this is another level of awareness. Interesting, isn't it? Go ahead, Elijah, I'm yours.
No, I just wanted to say that I know people that they are not on the spiritual path, but of course they are on their own spiritual path, but they are not interested of spirituality at all. And I find them, some of them, I find them a lot more conscious than people that are working on themselves, that are on the so-called spiritual path.
Yes, I agree with you. Actually, here in Tulum, I was telling one of my friends, I said, I'm the most unspiritual spiritual person. I was just telling my friend, like I was laughing. I was saying, like, it's interesting. I think I'm the most unspiritual spiritual person. And my friend said, what do you mean, Zarathustra? Because here in Tulum, we're having a lot of events like cacao ceremony, temescal. There's a lot of like ayahuasca ceremonies. There's a lot of teachers. There's a lot of workshops, a lot of women's group circles. They come together and it's about intentions. They put their intentions. There's a lot of different circles of people who come together. They do workshops or retreats about working on their traumas in the past. There's a lot of things here, tons of different things happening. And then you have these different places like Holistica or Ikal or Nomade, these hotel resorts that they have events or concerts that, like, a lot of people go there and they dress all these beautiful spiritual clothes. Like normally maybe they're wearing shorts or a bathing suit with flip-flop. Not they're wearing a beautiful Indian sari or a shawl. You know what I'm talking about. Let's say you're going to see a guru and they're wearing all these colorful, beautiful, spiritual Indian-like clothing, or putting in bindi and and they're all going to this event. There's a lot of stuff like that happens. And I was talking to a friend of mine and was saying, like, Zarathustra, why don't you put, you go to other countries putting events. Why don't you put anything here in Tulum? A part of me was like, I don't know, spiritual people, they bug me. And my friend said, what do you mean they bug you? I mean, this is how you make your living. You need spiritual people to come to you because you make a living from spiritual people. What do you mean they bug you? I said, I don't know. They bug me. But my friend was like, okay, Zarathustra, I know you. I've been around you. Let's talk about it a little bit. What is it that's bugging you? And I was like, I can't stand. I said, and then I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, okay. When I first started it, everything was interesting. And I wanted to, sorry, they're just one second. Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. Just one second. I want to know. Restream. And you know what? This may be a little bit like, what I'm saying maybe sounds a little bit unspiritual. These are moments like maybe I shouldn't say these kind of things, or I shouldn't really tell these things, because what my friend was telling me, like, watch out what you say a little bit. And maybe I should just keep my mouth shut and not say anything. Yeah, go ahead.
I just put my hand up to say, I love this. This is so refreshing.
So you want me to say?
It's so fantastic. There are so many spiritual teachers out there. You talk about stuff which is real. It's fantastic. It really is. So you talk
Thank you.
This was right, but I just put my hand up there, like, carry on. I love it.
Okay, then I say it. I was really into the appearance of spirituality when I first started it. So I have like a lot of pictures, actual pictures. They're in my box in my storage in Los Angeles. I have like 500 pictures of my days with Papaji, with Osho, with different teachers. I'm wearing spiritual clothing. I'm having a shawl, rings, a crystal, definitely a mala, bidis, the bidis, Nowadays, the most I wear is these two. And I kind of like, okay, I'm going to Ikal and there's a ceremony, a singer is coming, this guy, and they're setting it up, and I'll see all these beautiful women, men coming, they're all wearing these spiritual clothing, da 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 da. I can't stand it. I don't want to go to that concert. I don't even want to be seen there. I don't want to have anything to do with them. Okay, maybe part of me is prejudice. Cool, yeah, I have developed some prejudice. It bugs me. The appearance of spirituality starting to bug me. And the language of spiritual people these days, that's bugging me more than that. It's like I can't deal with it. I just can't deal with it. Then I sat down and I thought about it. Why does the appearance bugging you, people who want to dress spiritual, and the language is bugging you? Why is that? And I sat down and I thought about it. Oh yeah, you know what? It is true. I have developed some prejudice. That's true. Who is not prejudiced? And who doesn't have some prejudice about races, religions, restaurants, athletes, movie stars, lifestyles, countries, nations? Who doesn't have some prejudice? You don't have to answer right now to me. Sit down and think. Think about there's certain behaviors, or even within your own country, certain people, certain class of people, you don't like them. They bug you. So you have some prejudice against it. So I sat down and I thought about it, and it was like, all right, when I first came to this way, my brother Ernie, and I've said Ernie's name to a lot of people, is a beautiful black man with dreadlocks. And Ernie started teaching me about Osho. He taught me about the energy. He brought me in. He taught me about being aware, consciousness, working on yourself and having an awareness. And of course, I wish Ernie didn't die and he was here. And a lot of times I think about him, I miss him, or sometimes I hear his voice. But he would just, always, he had a style. Like, he would never push a book on me. Back in the day, we didn't have internet or computers to go on YouTube. So what Ernie would do is, and we lived together at times, he would put a book on my bed. He would leave a book on my bed, but he wouldn't say anything. And he would go. Not a word. And eventually I learned, whenever he puts a book on my bed, I have to read that book, because there was a lot of things that I was going to learn from it. And one time he gave me, and then he introduced me to spiritual bookstores, because back in the day, unfortunately, a lot of them are gone. The spiritual bookstores were where you could find each other. Like right now, the health food store is where you run into conscious people or people your type, and you get a chance to meet them. Back in the day was the health food stores, and you would go to a little health food bookstore or health food store, and you go to a bookstore, and then there was a bulletin board where it would say, Ramesh Balsekar is coming to give a satsang. Over there is, I don't know, such healer coming from Peru. That's where you would find information from the bookstore or health food store or you may run into someone and have a connection and find out that, for example, such and such guru is in town and is giving satsang. That's how you would find. Or you would give your address and maybe they would send you a mailing or your phone number, but there was no other way to do it. You had to. And I remember I'm in a bookstore and I find this book of the Druids, Book of Druids, and it came with this made out of the what is it, elephant teeth, what do you call it? It was made out of bones, and you had this book, and in this book you're reading it, you would shake these, it was like playing chess, backgammon. You would shake these things and pour them and see like 2 or 3 bones would come, and they had these characters on it. So you pick up the bones and what does it mean? And you would read, and it was telling you like you're this kind of person, or blah 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 blah. Or you would pull a tarot card. You remember tarot cards? Tarot cards. These cards, you play cards, tarot cards, and somebody has a stack of cards is showing you, and you say, pull one out. Back in the day, Ernie had the Aleister Crowley tarot cards. So it would say, okay, Zarathustra, pull one. I would pull one, and there was a symbol, and this symbol was, I don't know, whatever. And then he would open the book, and he would read for me, da 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 da. So I went through that stage. These things were important. Then I went in a stage that I had to have Rudra mala. You drop, put a mala. It's made out of beads, Indian beads, right? I had to have one around my hand, and I had to have some other stuff around this hand because I had to look spiritual. And if I went to an event, I had to be dressed spiritual. I wasn't going to go with a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. So, and all these phases, like numerology. I got into numerology. Astrology. Oh, what does this mean? And what kind of person am I? And I want to know more. I was hungry for this. So, and then what was it? Crystals. Oh, wow, you have to have a crystal. You have to have a special crystal hanging because that's going to keep the bad energy away. You can't go out without wearing your necklace with a crystal. Come on, And you have to have a little something here because that's going to activate your third eye. Come on, dude. You can't go out without a little something here. It's not going to work. And all of these things, and some of them I don't even remember anymore. There was a time my trip was looking like Native Americans. So I was wearing choke hair, I was wearing Native American boots, I had leather pants, I had a lot of Native American stuff, and that was my trip at that time. And then there was another trip that I had to look like Indians, the gurus, stuff like that. So I went through all these phases, right? So, and I'm not saying any of it is, so don't take me wrong. Let me just say this to you. I'm not saying if any of it is right or wrong. It wasn't right or wrong. It was a phase that I went through. And there was also a phase that, and it's like, it was like, we have this very good group of friends here in Tulum. We've become brothers, sisters. We're getting together, we're doing dinners, we're doing different events, da 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 da. And one of my friends says, Zarathustra, why don't you ever show them anything? Why don't you do an event? Why don't you show the power to them? They know what I do, but no one has ever asked me any questions. So people tell me, like, why don't you demonstrate something? But for me, it's like, the more power comes, the more powerful you become in the transmission, it's like the less you have the need to show it. It's like I no longer feel like I need to demonstrate the power. Before I wanted to do it, oh, look at me, and I can do this, and I can put my hands here, and you're gonna go like this, and look at me, and I can put my hand here, and you're gonna fall down, and a lot of it was like ego tripping, or a lot of it was because I wanted the pretty girls to like me and come after me. It was a form of womanizing more than anything else. It was a form of womanizing. And slowly, all these things of the appearance of spirituality, one at a time, it disappeared. It went away. There may be, I am sure, and there are still some things of, that's why I started this conversation by, yeah, a part of me, I really want to be looked at. Yeah, I want to be on a big stage with 10,000 people sitting and I'm teaching, 100,000 people, 1 million. A part of me is like, is not even satisfied with 1 million. I want it all. But it's interesting to self-observe, to see that how all of these things started to fell apart and go away. So yeah, in a way, when I'm going to an event like that, I get an allergy to it. And then, or I meet a 25-year-old, 28-year-old girl who's having an event somewhere, and we're talking. I know I have a lot of friends, and I also have a lot of young friends. But we're at the beach talking about something, and I say, "Yeah, I don't know. Things aren't really good with my work." And this is like 6 months ago, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue this work anymore because I'm not very motivated about it, and I'm not making money out of it, and my savings and everything, this is only going to last for so long. So I may just say, forget it, and maybe I open up a nice coffee shop or something. And the girl says, oh, no. Don't say these words. Don't be negative. Don't put out these negative words in the world because it's going to happen. And I'm like, oh, God, fuck. I can't talk to this girl anymore. And like, yo, you have to say positive things. You have to be positive. It's like if you come and tell me, say positive things, I'm going to puke. I will vomit right there. Or I remember this is like a few years ago, I was with my office manager, another person, and it's her with a few other girls, everyone new age, everyone super spiritual. And I say, damn, I feel like I'm coming down with a flu or a cold. This is like 2018. 3 girls jump up in the air and saying, no, Zarathustra, don't say that word. Don't say I'm going to come up with a cold. Don't say that. You're going to manifest it. And I'm like, fuck you. My words can't manifest anything. It's already written. If I'm supposed to get cold and go down, I get cold. If I'm supposed to be fine, fine. The words don't do anything. But positive thinking, positive words, that bugs the shit out of me when I hear these things. Or make your intention, Zarathustra. Intention is like, I can't stand it. And I'll tell you why. Oh, Zarathustra, come to this event and hold this crystal in this hand, and this crystal is going to activate your third eye. It's like, dude, you don't understand. I sat with Papaji. I've seen Muktananda. I've seen J. Krishnamurti. I sat with Ramesh Balsekar. I sat with Wayne Luckerman. I sat with Robert Adams. What the fuck are you talking about? I lived in Abajania with John of God, and I've been in Philippines with Filipino psychic surgeons. When they do surgery, their hand goes inside your body. Their fingers goes inside your body, and they take things out of your body. What are you talking about? You took a Reiki class online or went to a weekend Reiki course or went to Peru and drank ayahuasca. Now you're a shaman. And who did you sit with? You took a few courses, okay, you know, online or whatever. What the hell are you talking about? And how old are you? 28? You have no fucking idea. When you sit with the biggies, if you're honored enough to be sitting with one of those guys, you're going to keep your mouth shut after that. It's like, I don't know. Do you know Muhammad Ali, the famous boxer? Is there anyone who doesn't know Muhammad Ali? Do you know name me of the top athlete in the world right now. Someone who's the best in what they're doing. Name one. Someone from who? Hello? Are you there? Yeah? Yeah. Do you know
Michael Jordan for basketball.
Michael Jordan. How many people heard of Michael Jordan? Yeah. Michael Jordan is the most amazing basketball player ever existed. The most incredible basketball player ever. Nobody can beat Michael Jordan at his prime. There's not a human being alive that can beat Michael Jordan at his prime. This guy was an assassin. He had the mentality of an assassin. When he walked in the court, he wanted to destroy his opposition, absolutely kill them. He wanted to beat everybody. And if he didn't beat you that night, he would go practice 12 hours a day, day, night, day, night, day, night, day, night, and would come back and kill you. He won 6 championships, NBA, 3 championships in 91, 92, 93, and 3 championships in 96, 7, 8. He was absolutely an assassin. And they called him Air Jordan because when he went in the air, Michael Jordan would be in the air 1 or 2 seconds longer than anyone else. If you jump with him up there, you would come back down, and Michael Jordan was still in the air. That's why they made a shoe out of him called Air Jordan, right? Now, imagine somebody just entered MBA in the first year and come and tell Michael Jordan, like trash talking to Michael Jordan. Oh, dude, I'm going to beat you up in basketball. You don't say that to Michael Jordan. So it's back to what we were talking about is, yeah, at this level, somebody was asking me, do you read any spiritual books? No, the spiritual books are so boring now. What am I going to read? They don't interest me. Oh, we're going to some talk. Yeah, I'll come to some talk. But 99% of the time, after half an hour, I'm so bored. I want to go. And again, it may sound like I'm ego tripping, it may, but it's like I don't go to spiritual events because I'm not looking for anything anymore. Before I was looking for something. I was looking to find myself, to find God. I found it. God is here. I was going there to give me these feelings of ecstasy. Those feelings of ecstasy are here. I don't need to go to an event to experience it. I can go for a run, or I can make love to somebody. Or I just can go down the forest and sit there, and those feelings are there. It was like, I need to work on some things inside myself. Okay, so now when you found it, you discover it. If you go to a spiritual event, you're going for entertainment, or you're going there to watch another teacher. How do they open? How do they talk? How do they handle? But you're not going there to get something because you already realized it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's what is going on. Because when you've been with the real deal, when you sit with the Buddha, with Mount Everest, I mean, you sit with Papaji, you get this chance to come and sit in front of Papa. We call him Papaji. I mean, for me, where else can you go? I mean, you can't go any higher than that. You are sitting with the Buddha, and you're sitting with this man, and it's like, you see this dude behind you? It's like you're at the presence of Mount Everest. I mean, he's that big, and he's that still that your mind vanishes. There's just silence in your head, and you're elevated in this other place. You think you're sitting on the clouds in the sky, being with him. And all he tells you says, be quiet. Don't ask questions. Be quiet. Be still. Stay still. Be quiet. Be still. All these other things are blah, 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 blah. You need to be vegetarian, and you need to give this up, and you shouldn't be drinking, and give up your cigarette, and you need to get up at 6 in the morning, meditate, and you need to blah, 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 and it's all blah, 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 do. And he says, just be quiet. Be still. So once you have encountered this giant and he has transmitted to you, and you realize that you come to this place that, wow, that which I'm looking for is here. It's here. It's always been here. And God is not an object. I don't need to go to India looking for God. Or I don't need to go to this spiritual gathering. Or I don't need to wear this, that's going to make me more godly. I don't have to have a special bed with crystal under it. Or I don't need to eat these special pills to open my third eye. Because it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. All of it is bullshit. I know there may be some people get offended and they come back to me and but you wanted me to be honest and speak my truth. I'm being honest and I'm telling you the truth. There is nowhere for you to go and there's nothing for you to do. I'm going to say this again one more time so it clicks. There is nowhere to go and nothing to do. There's nothing you can do to get closer to God, and there's nowhere you can go to get to God. God is already breathing inside you. All you have to do is to shut up. Just shut up. Be quiet. Stop asking questions. Stop speaking. Be quiet. And it reveals itself to you. It reveals itself to you. Because you don't have, actually, the less you do, the better it is. The less you chase it. Everyone's running around doing these things. Looking for it. I did that. They're on their path. They have to do what they have to do. I understand that. All the jumping jacks I did in my life brought me here. But now that I'm here, I realize I never had to go to India. I never had to go see any gurus. I never had to change my hairstyle. I never had to change my diet. I never had to do anything. I never had to meditate. It's here. I'm already it. I cannot not be God. I cannot be outside of it. That is here. And I am that. Same as you. You are who you're looking for. I'm putting out this music CD I made with Baramji. It's called You Are Who You're Looking For. Let's pay attention to this for a moment, please. So it's not just words coming and going. What does he mean? He says, you are who you're looking for. I am who I'm looking for? Yes, you are who you're looking for. One moment, my lady house cleaner. Just hold on a second. Hola, Priscilla. Sorry. There is nowhere to go and nothing to do. You don't have to change anything, and there's nothing you can do to become that, because it's already here, it's already in you, it's already surrounding you. The rest is mind fucking. But maybe you have to do it for 30 years before you understand it. That I can't do anything about it, because it's your destiny. But if you're asking me, then I'm telling you. Is that good for me? Are you going to keep following me? Am I going to make money from it? No. It's not good for bringing more customers in. It's not good advertisement, believe me. But it's the truth. And that's what Papaji gifted me, and I'm giving it to you. He gave it to me for free, and here I'm giving it back. You are the one you're looking for. If you don't pay attention to the story that you're hearing here and become indifferent to your feelings and not be so focused on all this blah, 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 it will reveal itself, because it's already here. You just have to stop. All you have to do is stop. Stop the search. Don't look for it anymore. Just stop and be here. And all of a sudden it starts to reveal itself to you. Because that's where the kingdom of heaven is. The kingdom of heaven that Jesus Christ talks about is not an imaginary utopian place that a lot of spiritual people on this planet, they're hoping that we are going to go to this place and we're going to have a utopian place. It's not there. It's here. That's why you don't get to it, because you keep projecting it somewhere else.
Recording